The Saptang Doctrine of the State. Kautilya has shared the principle of social agreement or a kind of contract being responsible for the origin of the state, implying that in order to avoid the atrocity inflicted by cruel and stronger people, the common man has obtained the promise of his security by paying taxes to the king. It is similar to the principle of social contract that was explained by Hobbes, Lucas, and Rousseau regarding the origin of the institution of state. The ancient Indian thinkers conceived the state as a human body and have described it to be divided into seven organs as in Sukraniti. Similarly, Kautilya also described the state to be divided into Prakritis or Saptanga, seven organs of body, namely Swami, King, Amatya, Minister, Janapada, people and land together, Durga, fort, Koso, treasury, Danda, army and Mitra, friends. Considering Swami or king to be sovereign, Kautilya has described him to be the guardian of common interest, promoters of religion and regulator of law, thereby portraying king to be Rajarsi who is supposed to possess the virtue of a guardian, wisdom, enthusiasm, and self-sustenance, all to be essential, inculcated and developed by means of necessary education. Kautilya has made a detailed provision to extend sovereignty, all executive powers, seat of law and justice, and military powers to the king. Kautilya suggests setting up industry, performing sacrificing yajanas, determining behavior, offering dakshina, and establishing discipline are also the main duties of the king. Generally, the king of Kautilya appears autocratic and despot, but Kautilya has erected some moral limitation for the king by way of education, strict routing, taxation with prior approval from the public, consultation with Brahmins and priests, constitution of the Council of Ministers, and justice in concerns of the rule of law. In the form of Amatya, Kautilya has given the status of minister and administrative officer to another organ of the state, entrusting him with the responsibility of the accomplishment of the Janapada state security, crisis management, military arrangement, accounting of income and expenditure, suppressions of enemies, development of uninhabited land, policemen to criminal external affairs, and protection of princes, etc. In order to fulfill the role of Amatya, the king is expected to appoint only highly qualified person to the post. Individual as well as collective responsibility has been ascertained for the minister by Kautilya, attaching huge importance to the Janapada, the people and the land. Kautilya calls it a necessary element for the existence of a state. He holds the opinion that the state should expand the settlements either by increasing the population of their country or by inviting people from other countries. The Janapada should be established in areas abundant in natural resources like river, ponds, forests, mountains, agricultural produce, etc., with a good climate and rich trade. Forests inhabiting a lot of elephants for strong army, weak neighboring kings, various people residing and suitable fortified. Although Kautilya was in favor of centralized rule with the king as a pivot, administratively he desired for the divisions of state into four parts, which in turn indicated his inclination for decentralization and autonomy at the same time. The Durga or fort as a symbol of defense and attacking power of the state. Kautilya has advised that the king should build battle appropriate forts in all directions of his Janapada. Kautilya has highlighted 4 types of forts, such as island like fort, hill fort, fort in barren land, and fort in marshy and bushy region. The fort provides shelter to the king in times of crisis and also houses arrangements for military and allied forces. Kautilya believed that whether there is war or not, the king should always remain prepared for war, and therefore forts become yet more relevant. Kautilya has given preference to Artha in Dharma, Artha and Kama, saying that it is impossible for a king to protect his land, army, subjects, and regime without money. The king should never allow the Koso or treasury to go empty, because the army can only protect the Koso, but the Koso protects both the army and the fort. Kautilya had suggested that the king need to accumulate wealth in the treasury, both inherited from the ancestors and the one received from the subject through taxation. One-sixth of the grain from the subjects, 1/10 of the trade, and finish 15th of the profit earned from trade of animals and gold should be received by the king and as tax. However, no tax should not be collected by causing wrongdoings or suffering, because collection of tax from disabled people can lead to discount and rebellion. Dondo or army have been considered of huge significance in the security of the state by Kautilya, and the suggested that the military men should be of suitable lines, disciplined, trained, brave, self-respecting, efficient, and great patriot, because even the enemy of the king, who has a strong military force, became allied. The king should give proper salary to the soldiers and take full care of the amenities of their families. Kautilya has described 6 types of armies: civilian army, hired army, descent army, tribal army, allied army, and foy army. Elephantary, cavalry, pirate army, and infantry have also been described by him, with elephantry being categorized as the best on the protects that it provides to be most efficient and effective in disintegrating enemy force, cantonments, and arrays. Since Danda has been portrayed as the symbol of authority and Dandaniti equated with statecraft, therefore, Danda or army is important in the power of state, which protects life, liberty, and property by keeping people devoted to righteousness and productivity in his large interest of the state. About the seventh organ, Mitra, friends, Kautilya express that a king need friend to get help in times of crisis. Therefore, they must belong to an appropriate clan, must be faithful, paramount, minded and well-wisher. He believes that it is important for the king to tame friends so that there is no possibility of opposition from them. A friend is an unsalaried activity and also provides assistance through funds, land, and army, extending an ethical lesson. Kautilya says friendship is not permanent, only interests are permanent. Kautilya therefore has discussed the Saptanga Siddhanta or the Sapta Prakritis quite elaborately.